and the next disaster could strike at any moment. Deep on the floor of the Pacific Ocean lies a tectonic monster, the largest and most dangerous seismic zone on the planet, the Ring of Fire. 90% of all earthquakes on Earth occur here, and their consequences often turn into catastrophes. The main distinguishing feature of the Ring of Fire is that tremors shake not only the land but also the ocean floor, causing sudden surges of water-deadly tsunamis that destroy everything in their path. At the center of our planet lies a scorching hot core. Surrounding it is a dense mantle made up of various rocks. The Earth's crust consists of several tectonic plates that are in constant motion. At the junctions of these plates, mountains rise and oceanic trenches gape open. Some trenches are so deep that 6 100-story skyscrapers could be stacked inside them, one on top of the other. One plate pushes another deep into the planet. Where the plates refuse to yield to each other, enormous pressure builds up. Only in such areas can an earthquake with a magnitude of 9 or higher occur. Scientists call this tectonic fault in the Earth's crust a subduction zone. Subduction zones are located underwater and therefore cause not only earthquakes but also massive tsunamis. Earthquakes in the ocean have caused many cities on our planet to sink underwater. Now, with the help of underwater scanning, we can see what remains of them. Classical civilizations in the Mediterranean flourished for more than 1,000 years. Today, all along the coast, people tell stories about sunken cities. The waters surrounding reefs are receding, and something never before seen is revealed before us. The foundations of an ancient city emerge on the seafloor. The city is called Pavlopetri, and it was discovered by a single archaeologist in 1967. This city is 5,000 years old. All kinds of household items were found on the seabed. With the help of underwater scanning, we can recreate the appearance of the city. Without the water, we can see the outlines of the city's foundations as if in the palm of our hand. This is what it looked like at the height of its prosperity. A perfect example of a new type of European city, built from stone with straight streets. Pavlopetri was located at the crossroads of many Mediterranean trade routes that flourished during the Bronze Age. The items found in these ruins indicate that Pavlopetri was a major port city and an outstanding center of trade and craftsmanship. What led to its demise? How did it end up on the seafloor? Interestingly, there are no historical records about its demise. It sank and vanished into oblivion. Until its discovery in the 20th century, nothing was known about the city. A three-dimensional model of the seabed will help uncover the mystery of its disappearance. On the outskirts of the city, we see 3 mysterious lines. These are bands of coastal rock formed under the influence of sunlight and salt water. Such formations only occur along the shoreline. This can mean only one thing: the coast sank underwater due to earthquakes. 3 consecutive earthquakes that completely submerged the city. Pavlopetri is one of the most important Bronze Age cities ever discovered and the oldest sunken city in the world. But scientists are convinced that these are not the only ones, and that we are yet to discover many more sunken settlements hidden in the depths of the sea. Perhaps we might even stumble upon the legendary Atlantis. We may not find Atlantis, but we did once discover something mysterious. In 1986, a massive underwater formation was found in the sea near Yonaguni Island, which caused quite a stir in the media. Could it be the creation of an ancient advanced civilization? It's a stunning sight, a huge structure with smooth walls leading up to a summit as high as an 8-story building. Stone steps rise from the very base to the top, and no matter which side you look from, the shapes are strikingly well defined. Some scientists believe that it is entirely man-made, while others think it is a natural monument that was later modified by humans. If we pump the water away from the shores of Yonaguni Island and expose the monument using data obtained from underwater scanning, we will be able to better understand the nature of the stone formation. The water recedes and we see smoothly carved terraces being revealed. The monument stands before us in its entirety, and now we can see just how enormous it is. Its scale is astonishing. Nevertheless, out of the water, it no longer appears as artificial, that is, man-made as it seemed underwater. Many scientists are convinced that this monument is entirely natural, its regular shapes notwithstanding, since we know very well that nature often creates various formations with regular shapes. For example, if we were to drain the water from a quiet bay on one of the islands in the eastern Mediterranean, we would see unusual round stones that are almost too perfectly shaped. When they were discovered, they caused quite a stir in the archaeological world, exciting scientists. Many researchers immediately considered them to be man-made, and the place where they were found was thought to be the ruins of an ancient city. Stones of similar shapes were found during excavations of an ancient settlement over 2,000 years old. They were used as foundations for stone columns. That's why scientists thought that these underwater stones were also created for similar purposes, and that this place was the ruins of an ancient city. But there's one catch. Analysis showed that these stones are already 5 million years old. Naturally, no civilization could have existed at that time to create them. But then how can the appearance of these stones be explained? It's simple. Further examination revealed the truth. They were created by nature. Methane is released from the seabed. Together with microorganisms and bottom sediments, it causes the rock to take on perfectly rounded shapes. These formations do not belong to ancient Greek culture. They are 5 million years older than all of humanity. Draining the ocean helps us understand what lies on its floor. However, this does nothing to reveal how life unfolds within it. For that, water is absolutely essential. So now we'll leave the water in the ocean and descend to the very bottom, where the carcass of a giant sperm whale has settled. But don't think it will simply rot away here. Nothing goes to waste on the ocean floor. Soon, everyone will notice this carcass. 6-gill sharks have an exceptional sense of smell. Only 25 minutes have passed, and already a 6-gill shark has discovered the sperm whale carcass. With every bite, the shark releases a bit of blood into the water, which quickly spreads the news of food, and other sharp-nosed creatures soon arrive at the feast. 12 hours later, 7 huge sharks are already jostling each other, trying to tear off chunks of meat. No one is willing to back down. They attack each other and try to bite. This brawling continues for the next 12 hours. A day after the whale fell to the bottom, a third of the carcass has already been eaten. And interestingly, the first shark to arrive is still eating, not stopping until it's completely full. A single meal like this can last it an entire year. After the sharks have satisfied their hunger for flesh and swum away, the thorough cleanup crew begins to arrive. Enormous crabs, sea spiders carrying coral in their back legs presumably as rear protection start to appear. There are also stone crabs here. Perhaps they notice the carcass almost as quickly as the sharks did, but they can't move as fast. A month has passed and more than 30 species of scavengers are devouring the last edible scraps. But now, these scavengers are attracting their own predators. Lepidopids, or saberfish, which usually swim vertically, pick off the crabs one by one. Several of the sperm whale's teeth have fallen out as the skeleton begins to break apart. After 4 months, nothing remains but a few bones, but even those are edible for some. These are the so-called zombie worms. They bore tunnels into the bones by injecting acid, thus reaching the bits of fat that still remain inside the bones. It may take decades more, but eventually the last bones will disintegrate and the entire 30-ton carcass will be recycled. A whale fall is a temporary oasis in the desert of the seafloor, which is far from flat. As was mentioned earlier today, in some places giant rifts stretch for many kilometers along the ocean floor. These are canyons that descend toward the center of the Earth. Before you is the deepest of them, almost 11 kilometers deep, the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. Even Everest could disappear into this trench. Scientists once believed that nothing could survive down here in these deep gorges, but even here there is life, a special kind of sea slug. These and other simple creatures manage to survive on the tiny amounts of food that make their way down here. And, like this sea star, they withstand the pressure of 50 airliners stacked on top of each other. The probe's remotely operated camera reveals the most unusual discovery of a ghostly snailfish. At a depth of 8 kilometers, this is the deepest dwelling fish known to science today. No one could have imagined that such a complex organism as a fish could exist under such immense pressure. And as we can see, from the great depths to the very upper boundary of the twilight zone, there is life in one form or another everywhere in the deep sea. And now we believe that the deep sea may be the place where life on Earth first originated. It is here, in a world hidden within the greatest geological feature on Earth, that an underwater mountain range runs right through the middle of the world's oceans, encircling the entire globe, the mid-ocean ridge. In the southern Pacific Ocean, the seafloor is splitting apart. About 80% of all volcanic activity on the planet takes place on the ocean floor, and almost all of it occurs along the mid-ocean ridge. But from this titanic force also come great reaches that nourish the ocean. Through the cracks, gases and hot springs erupt, containing vast amounts of minerals that condense from these jets and form large chimney hydrothermal vents. This one, 30 meters tall, is called Godzilla. Now we know that there is as much life here as in the tropical jungles. In some places, up to 500,000 different small animals can't fit within a single square meter. Their diet consists entirely of bacteria, which in turn feed on chemicals produced by the volcanoes. Crabs consume the bacterial film that covers their shells. Others carry bacterial cultures within their own bodies. Shrimps carry such cultures in their oral cavity, but this strategy borders on danger because in order to provide nourishment for these microbes, the shrimps have to rush into hot springs where they risk being boiled alive. Over the past few decades, the number of discovered hydrothermal vents has doubled. Each of them has its own animal community. But the most important hydrothermal vent is located in the Atlantic Ocean. It has been named the Lost City. Inside the 60-meter towers, something truly extraordinary is happening. Under high pressure and at high temperatures, hydrocarbons spontaneously form molecules that are the main component of all living things. In other words, this is the primary building material for the creation of life. And now, many scientists believe that life on Earth could have originated around such a vent about 4 billion years ago. Now we know that there are deep oceans on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and if life can exist under such extreme conditions as at the bottom of our ocean near hydrothermal vents, then it can certainly exist out there as well, beneath kilometers of ice, on the seafloor, near similar hydrothermal vents. That's all for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and check out the 2 previous videos.